The days are long, the years are short. This is a quote that perfectly sums up parenting. Basically, it means that while you're in the thick of raising little kids, it seems like the days go on forever, that they go by very slow. And then when you look back at this time, it feels like it actually went by in the blink of an eye. So your perspective is different the farther away you get from raising little kids. And the years do fly by, so we really need to make the most of our time with our children. And while the days do sometimes seem to drag, our kids are really only this young for a relatively short period. I'm Marisa from Called to Mothering, and I encourage and equip moms that are raising toddlers to teens. Today, I'm sharing specific habits you can adopt to become an intentional parent. Number one is tell them, I like you. I think many times we as mothers are great at telling our kids that we love them, and our children need to know that we love them. Our children need to hear this, and they also need to feel it, but they also need to know that we like them. That doesn't mean we approve of every action that they take, and there will be plenty of times as a parent that you will need to lovingly confront your child and provide correction or discipline. But the attitude that you transmit to your child should be one of gratefulness about who God made them to be. It's hard enough to take correction, but it's doubly hard when it comes from someone that you know doesn't really like you. So tell your children that you are thankful that they are your son or daughter, and truly focus on who they are, not so much what they do. Telling children you're proud of them truly helps them feel seen and appreciated. What I tried to do was help each of my children develop their own interest so that they could almost be the family expert, so that they could share, what interested them and what they were really good at. I tried to hone their skills and then let them teach the rest of us how to do that thing that they loved. And that helped them feel appreciated and valued. I also facilitated their hobbies as much as I could, and as much as we could afford, and as much time allowed for it, and made a place for them in our lives. So it's important as well to notice your children's efforts and accomplishments and praise them. This encourages them to repeat the good behavior, building overall confidence. Incorporating positive reinforcement rather than just punishing bad behavior will create a higher level of trust between you and your child, and also respect. They will naturally begin to do more of what you have praised them for. Remember that your attention is extremely valuable in your child's life. If you only address your child when he or she is being inappropriate, then you reinforce that negative behavior, and you inevitably teach them that to get attention, they must be bad. So this creates a negative cycle. So you really want to pay attention to how much you're praising them and how much you're criticizing them as well. And you want the praise to be a lot more. You want to praise them more than you critique them. Number 2 is actively listen to them. Active listening is one of the biggest ways to show respect and understanding for your child. When children feel valued, their sense of emotional security grows. And one of the best ways to have them feel valued is to listen to them in a way that shows that you are invested in what they're sharing and that you truly care about what they have to say. So in the moment when they're sharing about, whatever it is, whatever is on their heart, actively listen and try not to overwhelm them with all the different ways that they could solve the problem or deal with their disappointment or frustration. By showing that you truly hear what they have to say, you're opening up a line of communication, even when the topic is difficult or awkward. And as they get older, those conversations do become, a little more awkward. So it's good to set that foundation early with them and open up that line of communication. Number 3 is be aware of unshared needs. Some children don't wear their hearts on their sleeves, and it might take a little more coaxing from them to find out what they're feeling. And it might take some more attention on your part to see if your child is struggling with something. Kids that don't share freely about their feelings may seem like they're doing just fine, like they're not dealing with any issues. But don't miss what they are communicating non-verbally. Outbursts, meltdowns, being unusually quiet or withdrawn, snapping at a sibling can all be signs that something is wrong. And many times that child needs you to draw them out by bringing up a topic or asking questions. Again, actively listen and be a safe place where your child is free to share thoughts, struggles, and ideas. Number 4 is limit distractions. Even when we are home all day, we might be a stay-at-home mom or work part-time or work from home. The addictive nature of our smartphones and devices can really pull us away from our children. They can really pull us into investing our brain or heart attention away from our children. And while many distractions are simply unavoidable, taking dominion over the ones that we are able to control buys us more focus for our children. And ultimately, it buys more time with them, and it also buys more influence in their lives. The more time and attention we can give our children. So we need to welcome their interruptions as much as possible, and that means stopping to hear what they have to say, what craft they created, or even the bugs that they catch. I often have to remind myself that my children's interruptions are not a distraction from my real work. Rather, they are my work. My children are my real work. And so when I have an opportunity to invest in them, I do. Of course, we shouldn't spoil our kids by constantly dropping everything to be at their beck and call, and that's not what I'm suggesting. But we shouldn't act like our schedules are more important than they are. If we show that we are interested in the little things they want to share with us now, they will want to share the bigger things later, the really big, important things when they are older that are really, really important that we know about, rather than rushing to tell peers about those things or posting about them on social media. Number 5 is purposefully work beside your children. There are just those distractions sometimes that we can't eliminate, like necessary house chores, upkeep of the home, and sometimes work. But you can still engage your children and invest in them as you go about daily responsibilities. You can draw your kids into what you're doing throughout the day. For instance, you can have them clean beside you, and in doing that, you are teaching them the value of work, the value of chores, and that's great for cultivating responsibility. You can also give them small tasks to help you out with the cooking, like measuring, gathering the ingredients for a meal, reading off the directions for a recipe. And you can also have them help you grocery shop by checking items off the list and loading the cart. And maybe even keeping a running tally of all those groceries, the amount that is going to cost. And lastly, take time for self-reflection. Taking time for self-reflection is a great way to be intentional as a parent and also improve your parenting skills. Ask yourself questions such as, am I being too strict with my child? Or is there something else I could be doing to better understand them and help my child? Reflecting on your own actions and the impact of those actions can help you realize what you could be doing better. And it gives you an understanding of how you can improve. It's important to remember that even though we are the parent, we are the one in charge, we can also always learn something from our children. We can also always learn how to be a better parent. And by doing those things, ultimately we have a better relationship with our kids. So if your children are older, you might also go out on a limb and ask them what they think you could do differently if you're feeling brave. And then decide on a goal and go for it. For instance, you might plan to spend 30 minutes a day playing with your child, for at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes, however long you decide. Or maybe you decide that you will not raise your voice while trying to get out the door for school or a play date. So remember to take time to invest in your kids, to self-reflect, to work together with them, to create opportunities for them to share their skills and teach you about those things that interest them. And above all, remember to tell them that you like them, not just love them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are encouraged. And remember, you are not just a mom.